Hello everybody and welcome back to ROGUETECH. I of course am SerBeardian, and today we're going to be starting to run the clock on the work that we've done. Now, I've ordered a few things and we're basically going to burn the first month on just getting our lands operational. Now, the Assassin and the Venom are the two biggest time sinks. The Vindicator and the Enforcer didn't really need too much work, just maybe a little bit of up armoring. I've also reshuffled the weapons around a little bit. The Assassin and the Venom required a lot of additional armor, and the armor is where that time sink comes from. I've also ordered an upgrade to the Argo. And if we go over here, we can see what upgrades we have actually available. Now, the two that I always bring online first are structural repair and the power conduits. Power conduits, the average costs are $350, but this is actually, as far as I can tell, the inverse. So this will actually save us 350 credits, C-bills a month. The second one is structural repair, which will save us another 350, and this can be done within the first month as well. It's also super duper cheap. The two of them together. It's only like a 90,000 for each. After that, we're going to go for the repair and refit of the mech bay, which is actually, I'm not sure if that does cost them more or less. I don't know. Not really. Yeah, I still haven't been able to figure out if this costs more or less. I think this might cost less. I don't know. Anyway, point is, after that, either repair and refit or potentially Mech Bay 2. Mech Bay 2 is really expensive, but I do believe that it does bring the average cost maybe down, but it does two very, very, very important things. Number one, it gives us +4 tech points, which is 50% more tech points. And tech points determines how fast we can refit and repair our mechs. Very, very important. With 50% more tech points, it wouldn't take me a month and a half to actually refit those mechs. But the second thing it does is it enables the repair bay, which allows work on 2 mechs at once at 50%. So that means that we would be able to work on the Assassin and the Vindicator at the same time, which is very, very useful if you have one mech that's going to take like a month to rebuild because you just reassembled it out of basically spare parts, and you have one mech that's only going to take like 2 days. So you can get both of them done at once. Now, we're going to start the timeline. We're going to get our things done. Organized Chaos. Ooh, in the morning briefing, Yang jumps right in. Commander, the Leopard is too small. My mech techs keep tripping over everything. Chief, we've talked about this, Darius says in exasperation. We can't exactly knock down any walls. That would be a really bad idea. Samir inserts himself. What if we move some supplies into other parts of the Leopard, which are the dropship? The bunks, the kitchen, hell, I'll even store some boxes in the cockpit if it'll help. Yang rubs his chin. Yeah, if I had some breathing room for a week, I could reorganize and make room for everything to move back. So, we've got 3 options. We can tell Yang to just make do. We can move only a small amount of supplies, or we could fill every last corner of the Leopard with mech-based supplies. I want more mech tech, and I know that this one can give you a fair amount of mech tech points, so we're going to fill every last corner, and boom! That's good. That's really, really good. So over the next several days, everyone helps move all the mech-based supplies to other parts of the Leopard. As a result, emotions get heated over the following week, and Decker gets particularly upset when he trips over an unexpected box of tools. Before long, however, Yang and his technicians reclaim the supplies. His mood, at least, is much sunnier than anyone else's. When you arrive in the mech bay, he's practically glowing, and you can see why. The mech bay has never been better organized. So we lost 2 morale off of our global morale. We're down to 8, but we have gained +6 tech points for 30 days. And that gives us almost 50% additional tech points. And you can see now that before, it was going to take us be after the financial reports to actually get these done. Now we're going to get it done, the whole thing done in 22 more days. So we're actually going to be able to run a mission before our financial report, which sounds pretty good. So let's take advantage of this event, and we are going to, oh, we got one more. Banging noises draw you to the shared mech warrior barracks, where you find Hammer disassembling one of Leopard's internal walls. There are already several panels neatly stacked beside him. He pauses and explains, "There's a few cubic meters of dead space back there. I'm making room so we can stretch without hitting the bunks." As reasonable as this sounds, the banks aren't going to like you modifying their property. Oh, by the way, we have a gigantic freaking loan hanging over our heads that we took to basically get this ship from a ruined scrap on the planet up into actual orbit and usable. So, if Hammer was a technician, he would be able to make the changes easily reversible, and we will be able to get the benefits without sacrificing the money. But I don't want to make everybody upset, especially with morale down to 8, and 20,000 is nothing. So we're going to set aside, and we're going to get one of our morale back. So we're back up at 9. So set aside 20 grand for a point of morale. That is fine. We're going to keep going. Power conduits are done. There they go. And we are going to go and get that structural repair.
It'll take a bit, but we'll get it done.
Get that underway. We're still very, very healthy on funds. Let's keep going. We're going to get our techs. Managing inventory shrinkage. Commander, we have a problem. Decker has been stealing med supplies and selling them while on shore leave. Morale has been low lately, but theft of company resources is a fireable offense. It's your call. So, we have a couple of choices. Decker is Spacer, Officer, Nobility, Military, Capellan, Indosphere, and Command Experience. And an absolute knob, as it appears. So, we can let it slide, which is probably going to hurt morale. We can fire Decker, which is going to get rid of Decker. We can revoke his shore leave and garnish his wages to recover the costs. Or, because I think we're above a black market world, we can put Decker to work for the company instead of himself, which is probably going to get us a little bit of funding. We're not strapped for cash just yet, and I don't want to lose Decker after culling most of our crew as it is, but he does need to be punished because he is a knob, and we still have 10 days before we can go on a mission anyway, so we're going to revoke his shore leave privileges and garnish his wages. So he's in low spirits for 30 days, and he's picked up the tag dishonest, which is a little bit disappointing. But we gained 10,000 from paying him less, and we've lost 1 medical point. We use medical points to recover injuries, and we don't have anybody injured yet, so I don't think that is super duper concern. So that is good for now. Now, low spirits makes morale-based abilities in combat more expensive on your morale. So I have so far been able to mostly get away without necessarily using them. So we'll see if we can pull it off again. Okay, so our mechs are assembled. Let me just show you real quick what I've actually done with them. So the Vindicator is basically just as is. All I've done is add shift a little bit of armor out of the legs into the torso, so that we don't get as easy blow-throughs on the rear. The Assassin has been reworked pretty heavily, in addition to shifting the armor around to make it significantly more resistant at close range by basically maxing out the armor. I've also added a whole bunch of our SRM2s, so it can actually fire 8 rockets, 8 SRMs at once, with 100 shots in total. And in addition to the claws, because he has the claws which deal a lot of melee damage, I've also added the arc welder. So swap the light PPC for the arc welder, which is going to give us some close range firepower. I believe I also swapped out removed a lot of the jump jets, so it's a little bit less maneuverable, but it gets the job done. Its heat efficiency is way overkill because it's using a double core, but I don't have a spare core to swap it around, and swapping cores is expensive, so that is just going to have to do. The Venom, I've swapped out the heavy PPC for the light PPC and the large laser. mainly because I don't like the idea of a heavy PP of one light mech, which is very easily blown apart, having a heavy PPC and relying on that one weapon. Because yes, whatever it hits is just going to die, but heavy PPC has recoil, which means we only get to be able to fire like once every 2 shots and actually even bother trying to hit. And a light PPC plus a large laser gets the job done. Large laser have an inherent accuracy bonus of +1, so lasers are going to be significantly better. So light PPC reduces their accuracy on hit. It ignores an evasion pip, which makes it more likely to actually hit an accurate target, and the large laser also has an inherent accuracy bonus of +1. So they are going to be significantly better at actually hitting anything. So it does less damage overall when it does hit, but it still hits. And the Enforcer, basically I just up-armored the rear. So it's got 40 and 50 armor now. It has a little bit more armor on the right torso, simply because that's where the ammo is. And I don't want to get a throw my critical below the ammo bin and take out the entire mech. So that is our Lance. So let's go have a look at what contracts are available, and we're going to see if we can get our first mission done. Now, Forward Observers is a half-scale mission. I think we are definitely going to want to do this. Very quickly, let's go check what ranking our actual planet is at. So there are 2 types of difficulty systems there for Planetary Challenges. Either they can be based off of your lance, or they can be planet-based. I've gone for planet-based. So you can see that Galatea here is a 1-skull planet. Over here, Alexivania is also a 1-skull planet. But if we go have a look, let's say over here, Thala is the capital world of the Oxamite Providence. Is that a clan? Or is it private? Primitive Islamic state in a deep periphery. Okay, I don't know what it is. I'm sure they've got. I'm certain that they have some level of lore attached to them. But you can see here that they are 4.5 skulls. So if we were to go over there, not that we could afford it, if we were to go over there, we would get absolutely curb stomped. So we're not going to do that, because we do not have 4.5 skulls worth of lance power. And ideally, we probably wouldn't want to go over there with only 4.5. Because we have half skull, 1 skull, and plenty of 1.5 skulls right here that we can work on. So let's start with a half skull to get our mechs worked up a little bit. So, Scouts have observed local governments, military units covertly surveying military industrial targets. Increased activity from the planetary government near several priority facilities suggests a strike is coming soon. We're tasking you with intercepting the scout lancers, identifying targets, and eliminating it before it can report back. It is a battle, so it's straight up smashing up against basically kill everything. We're in a desert biome, which reduces the heat sinking ability of our mechs, but I think we have more capacity than we have generation anyway, so that's fine. And we are fighting for the Illyrian Commonwealth, so House Steiner. Let's go negotiate. So, maximum pay is 230,000. So if we want all the money, we can get 230,100 C-bills for completing this contract. But in return, we're given 1 paltry piece of salvage. Alternatively, we could go all salvage and only get paid 53,100, which honestly is probably only going to just barely cover our drop costs, never mind repair bills. But we get to pick 3 salvage, and we get a total of 13 items of salvage. I think that would be a pretty good option. Alternatively, we could just sacrifice everything and get +8 rep bonus with the Illyrian Commonwealth, but that we are way too early to be running rep only missions. It would give us a nice boost because it would actually pay us more for it, but no, we can't afford it right now. So we're going for a very high salvage because we have lots of C-bills in reserve. What we need are components for repairs and, well, upgrades and everything else. So I'm going to accept that. And let's go load our lance. So we're going to pay, what, like 56 grand? It's going to cost us 38. So, yeah. So it barely covers our drop costs. So if we take pretty much any kind of actual damage, we're not going to make a profit off this mission. Shit. I forgot our pilots. Let's get our pilots skilled. So, first things first. So each pip with a dot in it, so except for that one and these ones, each pip with a dot in it gives you a little bit of additional stats. So each one of these levels of gunnery gives you plus 2% base weapon hit chance. Each level of piloting gives you plus 2 base and melee hit chance. Each level of guts after this one gives you things like hit points and heat threshold and stuff like that. And tactics gives you indirect fire penalty, minimum range, gives you stuff like that. You also, at levels 5 and 8, get special perks. So this one here is multi-target. You can fire up to 3 separate targets in the same turn. So if you know that one shot is going to blow that mech sky high, you can fire the rest of your guns at somebody else. Ace Pilot can use its movement before or after shooting. This is ridiculously useful. Normally you can only shoot after moving, so if you're standing out in the open and you want to shoot at somebody, you can't duck into cover and still shoot at him. With Ace Pilot, you can. Now you can't run, you can only walk, but you can jump, which is useful to know. Personally, I really, really like Ace Pilot. I think it's amazing. Under Guts, we have Juggernaut. Juggernaut braces you after melee and death from above, which means that you take 25% less damage, I believe, which stacks with a lot of other bonuses as well. And a successful melee attack knocks your target back 1 initiative phase. So if they're about to go after you and you smack them, that pushes them back and potentially gives your entire team a chance to go before them and wail into them. Very, very useful skill. Under Tactics, you have Technician. When you reserve, so skip your initiative by 1 initiative, you remove 1 bar of stability damage, useful. Plus 2 resolve gain, useful. And 50% critical hits taken less. With through armor criticals, this is actually extremely useful because it makes it less likely that a shot is going to blow your internals. Useful. I would still say that piloting and Juggernaut, getting at least one of these is probably mandatory. And then either multi-target or potentially Tactician. I think Tactician actually gets a 1-up. However, then you have to pay attention to the rank 8 skills. The rank 8 skills are only available if you also have the rank 5 skill in that line. So you can't get Ace Pilot, you can't get Berserker if you don't also have Juggernaut. And you can only have 2 out of these 4, and only 1 out of these, well, and ultimately 2. So you have to choose which one you're going to be. You can't have multi-target, Ace Pilot, Juggernaut, and Tactician. You can pick 2 of these and 1 of these. So let's have a look at what's actually after behind them. Warlord, plus 2 accuracy, plus 25% damage, 10% less heat generated, and cools down 50 heat. I don't know if this has been fixed in the latest patch, but when I was playing, the cooldown 50 heat bit only seemed to fire maybe 10% of the time. I don't know what's up with that. But Warlord's useful, but I didn't find it super duper useful by the time I got to it. If I had it right now, the plus 2 accuracy would be huge. Later on, when you have level 8 accuracy, level 8 gunnery, it like just only pushed you over the edge. It didn't I didn't find that it did as much as it should have. Piloting, Phantom Mech. Gain enhanced ability to avoid damage for 2 turns with a flat plus 2 increase in evasion with any movement. This can exceed your maximum allowed, also take 25% less stability damage. Phantom Mech basically makes you almost unhittable and unstoppable. So if you're super duper zippy, Phantom Mech is really amazing, especially because you're also going to have Ace Pilot. So you're going to be able to move after shooting or duck in and out of cover. Berserker, 50% extra damage, +2 chance to hit, 30% reduced death from above self-damage, works for both death from above and melee attacks with a 4-turn cooldown. So basically a melee version of Warlord. And Berserker sounds amazing. Lastly, Sensor Lock. Select a target within sensor range and reveal it until the end of the current round and remove 2 of its evasive charges. Grants a 25% chance increase to critically strike target. That is pretty damn useful. It's very, very useful if you have an artillery lance with lots of missiles. You just sensor lock it over the mountain and they just lob artillery. Because it nukes its evasive charges, gives you line of sight, and extra critical chance. You're probably not going to get through on my criticals with the missile, but the fact that you're going to be able to shoot it without it being able to shoot at you is pretty damn awesome. Especially combined with Tactician, which reduces your critical chance. So I think for our main guy, we are going to go for Ace Pilot and Tactician with one of these two. We're gonna figure out which one at a later time. So here's the problem: if we want Ace Pilot and Tactician, we can't get the 5th pip of Gunnery until after we've gotten the 5th pip of piloting and tactics, which means our accuracy is going to actually suffer until then. I really want Ace Pilot first. Can we get that now? Yes, we can. We can also pick up rank 4 of Tactics, but we are 3,000 experience short of Tactician. Okay. So we have really good melee hit chance, +10, -5 stability damage taken, so we're a little bit more stable, and we get 1 unsteady threshold, which means we are very, very stable. We also get a -1 indirect fire penalty for missiles, so that's not too shabby. We do have a base of 4 gunnery, which is okay as well. So all in all, not too bad.
Training confirmed, Commander.
Hammer, I think. Behemoth has always been a melee fighter, so we're gonna get you to do melee. I think we definitely also want... Oh no, we're not gonna get Phantom Mech because we're gonna get Berserker. Ace Pilot is not gonna be useful because that's shooting. So piloting... Well, she's gonna have to get piloting up really high because that's for the melee hit chance. So piloting and guts is what she's going to have to be. But I'm just not sure if I want Ace Pilot and Phantom Mech for both of them. Phantom Mech would be useful for the enhanced ability to avoid damage. So she can just run in and just bash something in the face. But I don't know how really useful that's going to be. Having sensor lock on your melee bot is maybe useful. Tactician to reduce the amount of critical hits that you take would also be extremely useful, and all the gunnery stuff is just largely worthless. So I think we're gonna go for Tactician. However, for right now, we need piloting for that extra base melee hit chance, because we can't get Tactician right now anyway. We need that hit chance. We already have Juggernaut. We need that hit chance. Done. Okay, that's 2 down. Hammer, we definitely want lots and lots of shooting. So, rank 4 gunnery, and we're going to get the Ace Pilot.
Mech Warrior training complete.
And we do need somebody tactics.
I hear ya.
So, Tactician, actually, no, you need gunnery more than anything else. And... 1 extra health just to keep her alive a little bit better. Lots of experience to spare, so we're going to be able to get Tactician pretty soon because we want sensor lock. And I think, yeah, we want sensor lock.
Training confirmed, Commander.
All right. Do we have a 4? Yes, we have a 4. Let's go. Decker, you get left behind. You can stay home in a grump. And bloody hell, we're not going to have enough time to run the mission. Okay. We might have to hold off and do the mission on the next episode. Okay, well, let's at least get started. So, max salvage, 53,000. $38. That gives us about 18,000 profit off the drop cost. Okay. Enforcer. Hang on, which one's the punch bot? It's the Vindicator again, isn't it? No. Assassin. Assassin is the punch bot. So, Assassin, Behemoth goes in there because we need her to be the punching. Bonus initiative as well. So you can see that she's actually acting on initiative 3. Except with the Assassin, that will actually bump up to initiative 2. So even though it's a medium, it's going to be acting with the lights. Our Vindicator, that's just actuator stuff. Venom, normal, and Enforcer is normal. So our +1 initiative Assassin is going to be really, really cool. Vindicator has the PPC, Vindicator is a long range one, so we want good gunnery on that. Enforcer is also relatively long range with the AC-10 and large laser. Venom needs to be quick, so Glitch is going to be in the Venom. She doesn't have the best gunnery, but she is on par with everybody else except Behemoth. So that will be fine for now. On the other hand, if she's caught, actually no, these two are probably much more likely to get caught flat-footed. So do we want? Where do we want to be? We got better piloting, not as good as guts, better tactics. Tactics increases the effectiveness of cold shot, and it reduces the penalty for indirect fire and improves the minimum range. Guts reduces the penalty from weapon recoil. Yeah, okay, well that's just the levels that, as they go up, the little pips they get. They're largely the same. ERPPC, Pulse, LRM. You know what, because of the LRM, we're going to put you in there, and we're going to put you in there. And Hammer with an AC-10 seems appropriate. Okay, that is going to be our loadout. So, next episode, we're going to be jumping to the battle. Get started on hopefully raining death on our enemies without getting smacked ourselves. We'll see how we do. So, thank you for watching so far. I know it hasn't been too exciting, but tune in next time, and we're going to get to see some real action. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you then.